giving my husband the open relationship he wanted after catching him cheating. For those saying I don't want to fuck my husband and I'm withholding sex, that's not what I said. We still had sex before I caught him the first time, but I didn't want or need it every day. To clarify, I had a low sex drive way before the kids came along, which I told him when we started dating. I'm satisfied with once or twice every couple weeks. However, I did still put out, even when I wasn't in the mood. But I will admit, it's not as much as I did before we had kids. The first time I caught him talking to other women was while I was pregnant with our second son, and he just gaslit me. I know I'm an idiot for staying with him, and this is going to be insane, but being with him is sadly one of the better relationships I've ever had. Everyone guessed it, low self-esteem and zero self-respect. You'll get a cookie. He's been blaming his cheating on the fact he's bipolar and is experiencing hypomanic episodes. Not buying it. His brother has told me before he's a pathological liar. And many of you mentioned divorce. Well, unfortunately, that's not an option right now due to finances. While I was on maternity leave with our 4-month-old, he was supposed to be paying more of the bills. But I do have all the evidence of his affairs saved off my phone. I'd like to also add, we both work full-time. He works Monday through Thursday, 10 to 9. His office is an hour away. I work Monday through Friday. I work from home, so our youngest stays with me and our oldest goes with my dad retired. Here's an overview of a regular weekday. 2-7 a.m. Trying to get a few extra minutes of sleep after being up and down with our 4-month-old 7:15 a.m. Actually getting up and going to feed and water the animals 7:30 a.m. Getting our almost 2-year-old up and ready to go to my dad's 7:45 a.m. Start logging into work and handing my oldest off to my dad. Try to wake my husband up and remind him to take his dog out and feed her 8:00 a.m. Start work 8:15 a.m. Husband gets up and wakes up the baby, then brings him to me. 8:30 a.m. Husband leaves for work 9 a.m. First break during work, I spend it nursing our son 9:15 a.m. Back to work while also taking care of our baby 11 a.m. Lunch, spend it nursing our baby 11:30 a.m. Back to work. Sometimes the baby sleeps through this part of my day 1:15 p.m. Last break at work. Nurse the baby 1:30 p.m. Back to work while taking care of the baby 4:30 p.m. Hopefully off work. Feed the baby again 4:45 p.m. Oldest kiddo gets home. I start dinner while entertaining both boys. Take my husband's dog out and feed her 5:30-ish. Dinner is ready. Feed the baby again. Get him to sleep for like 2 minutes 6 p.m. 7 p.m. Entertaining both boys till bath time. Bathe the oldest while trying to keep the youngest from screaming his lungs out. 7:30 p.m. Bedtime for my oldest and I finally get to eat and clean up dinner 8 p.m. Bathe myself and the youngest 8:15 p.m. Nurse the baby and try to get him to sleep 9 p.m. Husband calls to let me know he's on his way home. 9:30 p.m. I start to get my husband's plate warmed up and leave it in the microwave 10 p.m.-ish. Husband gets home and immediately hops on his video games and eats dinner 10:30 p.m. I finally lay down to go to sleep, only for the baby to wake up screaming. So, I get up and tend to him. Sometime between midnight and 1 a.m., husband comes to bed, wakes up the baby in the process, and I wake up to tend to the baby. That's just a regular weekday. Weekends are somehow worse. We are going to start family therapy, eventually. For the sake of the boys, and because I don't trust him to take care of them without me. The man can barely take care of himself. But I'll give him credit since he's decided to start telling me the truth, including what actually happened that night. Not that the truth was much better, but it was more believable. TLDR. I had a low sex drive before we got together. He knew this. Can't afford divorce RN. Plan to start therapy once we can since he's decided to start kind of telling the truth. 23F, just found out my soon-to-be ex-boyfriend, 23M, let's call him Johnny Cash because he literally idolizes this person and doesn't see the parallel between their alcoholism and previous drug use, has cheated on me while I was away overseas for 2 weeks, relative's funeral. The whole time my sister was telling me she had this gut feeling about him cheating, and I didn't have that feeling because 1. I'm grieving my late relative, and 2. Despite me giving this POS rent money, he managed to get us evicted before I ever got back. He's been unemployed since May, needless to say. I already had too much on my plate. He moved all of my belongings to a fucking garage. I've been back for another 2 weeks before going through his phone, finding what I dreaded and sent myself the screenshots, the videos, while wiping away any evidence of my snoop and running back to my parents' house far the fuck away from him. He suspects I know, but I slipped up when an old screenshot of his encounter with a female we used to hook up with last year, long story, surfaced in our chat. He called and said, "Is this why you're acting weird?" And he entirely blew up on me too, saying that I was the one who's probably cheating and that I don't love him. To which I kept my cool and said, "Oh, no, nothing like that. I thought I saw something but realized it's from before. If you didn't do anything recently, then that's that." Before I continue with that, back to the question. I ask because every single relationship I have been in results in my partner cheating on me. I mean, obviously the answer is pick a different type of partner, but that's an answer for a different question. I don't want to sound full of myself, but I'm not exactly ugly, or the prettiest for that matter. It's a stupid and silly question because really I know cheaters don't cheat because of me. It's because they're insecure with themselves. But how did I manage to choose 3 consecutive partners that all swear up and down that they don't cheat, don't like the idea of cheating, blah 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 blah, and somehow I'm back to square one with that bad part of my brain telling me it's all my fault and everyone is the fucking same? For context, first partner was in 2017, 18M. We lasted 2 years. He cheated throughout. Second partner was in 2020, 23M. We lasted 2 years before I found out he spent $600 on a cam model. Legit no shade to any of my SW girlies out there. On my mom's birthday while not paying a dime for dinner for my mom's birthday. I mean, seriously, WTF, where do I keep finding these fucking losers? And last, but not least, I met this last partner when he was 22 in 2022. 2 years is coming up September. This one is different because I thought that maybe if I were more sexually open into threesomes, couple swaps, etc., that it would be easier for us to navigate through this shit, and boy, my naive ass really couldn't be more wrong. Am I giving too little? Am I giving too much? Is it worth hoping to find someone who's actually going to respect my boundaries? Anyway, while you contemplate that, I'd love to continue ranting on this current one.